What makes iRacing special? It's a question that gets asked so often by people looking to join the world's largest and most diverse sim racing community. And many drivers will say it's as simple as this. They get to run side by side in close competition with others from around the world. It's a thing that we celebrate week on week. But for 1 month of the year, the clubs, the countries, the drivers, they race against each other, not just in pursuit of personal glory, but in terms of representing their club and having the chance to say that they are the world champions of iRacing. The 2016 World Cup of iRacing officially starts next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to RaceBot TV. We do apologise for what just happened there. It looks as though everything is now under control. So, we're just talking there about Club Asia. And next up, we are going to show you the driver behind the number 12 machine. And this one is Club California. And, well, California, it's on the West Coast. That time difference can sometimes hurt them in these events and not quite in the perfect bracket for the biggest amount of participation, Cisco, but still they are a club that when they do normally come, they come in some very big numbers.
Absolutely, and I have to say the team captain, who isn't here tonight, but Matthew Welsenbeck has taken over running that team this year, and he's actually one of the guys that I started in iRacing with and came up through the iRacing ranks with. I still talk to him on a regular basis, and that is a driver who is very determined to show that California's got the chops to go out there and make it happen. I really expect that team, under Matt's leadership, they're going to try and do everything they can to go out there and win this thing.
There we are, riding on board then with Chester Thompson as he works himself around the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps racetrack. There we can see him. Well, there is a reason as well why we are running these two cars at this racetrack right now, and it is of course because we will see them at some point in the future. The Chevrolet C6R will be running itself at Watkins Glen International, and Charlotte Motor Speedway will be the home for the Gen 6 car when it gets through to the main event itself. That will be for the qualifying round, Cisco, and it's an interesting thing this year. Different cars, different tracks as we progress through the competition. The finals, though, worth noting, back in these two cars, and it's a salivating, absolutely salivating choice that Club Finland have chosen. Indianapolis in the Gen 6 for the finals, and this car at this track for the road final.
Yeah, absolutely. Indianapolis can be seen as one of the tougher oval tracks to get to learn. It's not a cookie cutter. It's a big 2-mile track. It's pretty much my home track, pretty much. And talk about a place that, you know, it just oozes history. And I mean, you know, it's such a prestigious track. You and I were both there this year for the Indy 500. It's just an amazing place, but it's a tough place to drive in these stock cars. It's really just not. It's so flat that the stock cars, they have a lot of trouble getting the grip down. And if you get too much grip, you spin it right off out of two. So you got to be careful with that. And then Spa, we were just here not that long ago for the 24 Hours of Spa. And this is just an amazing race complex. In my opinion, one of the best Grand Prix tracks out there right now on the Grand Prix circuit.
Yep, and of course you can't talk about NASCAR without talking about our next club on the list, and that is Club Carolina, of course, the home of NASCAR. And well, these guys, they've placed well previously in terms of both the road and the oval event. They've not been bad. Gary Skilling is the captain. We can ride on board of him in the number 24 machine. Just having a look, we haven't got the opportunity to have a chat with him, unfortunately, but it's going to be worth noting that Carolina, using the Gen 6 at a track like Indy, they are really going to be a track. If they a team, if they get themselves into the finals, they could cause themselves some big issues for the rest of the competition.
And I'd even say, Will, if they get through to Atlanta, that's another place where they're going to have an advantage. Atlanta, Charlotte, we all do have Charlotte. It is one of the free tracks we get with the first-time subscription. But Atlanta, it's subtly different. It's a little bit different of a track to run. I think they're going to have the advantage. They just have to get through to Atlanta, and then after that, they're going to be really in the ballpark as in terms of just great tracks for that club. And you have to think, Charlotte, it is their home track. They're probably going to do pretty well there.
Well, yeah, indeed. And so many people talk about the differences between Charlotte, Atlanta, and Texas Motor Speedway. I can tell you, I know some of the differences, even though they are all about 1.5 miles in length, and they all have the same amount of banking on them. There's so much more difference between them, of course. Atlanta, it's got the kind of tighter corners. It's got the different front straightaway. Texas actually isn't 1.5 miles in length. It's about 1.455 miles in length. And Charlotte, it's got the fantastic yellow walls, of course, that we now know and love about that track. Behind Carolina, well, that is Club Florida. And Florida have placed fantastically at times in the past. Marty is their club captain in that number 38 machine. So let's ride on board with him. This is going to be fun. trying to watch a Gen 6 car head itself into Eau Rouge. It's one of these things you only ever see during the World Cup of iRacing.
No, absolutely. Well, and one of the big talking points this year for Team Florida, Derek Spears Designs have come on board to sponsor that team. So they got some fire underneath that car. They're going to try and do everything they can to get up and get into that final. And a little bit of sponsorship, it can do wonders for your confidence. It can get you the drive that you would need to move on to the next round.
And if I remember correctly, that's the first time we've actually had a formal sponsorship in any World Cup of iRacing. So that's an interesting one. DSD getting behind then that team. So we've got Mike Taylor in behind the wheel of the number 17 machine as well, riding on board of the exit of Ranier down this long straightaway. So that is Club Florida. Marty is not there, so we can't talk to him, unfortunately. But there we can see Club Florida. Club Florida and the Carolinas. When we talk about some of the things happening in this event as well, the way the groups are going to work. Some of these American clubs, it's going to be fascinating because the way the groupings work, it will make it very hard for certain clubs to progress in relation to others.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially if you're in one of those splits where you're having to go up against one of the clubs that was in the championship last year, someone like a Finland, someone like a UK and Ireland, you're going to have trouble. And also the problem is going to be if you're going up against one of those clubs that has, 30, 40 people registered on that club and you have a smaller team, that's going to be another big deal because you have to worry about, how many drivers are going to be in that event and will you get kind of run out of it just by the higher numbers. So it's going to be an interesting case to see, can some of these American teams, which is a little bit more split up than what we would see in Europe, can these American teams cope with that and be able to come back and do well?
Yep. Next up on our list, that is Club Midwest. And, well, Club Midwest, they're a team again. And we talk about this so often. They're a team that we would put respectfully in that mid-pack. And one of the things that a lot of the clubs in this group need to do is find a way, not necessarily of being fantastic on the oval or the road course, being consistently good, if not the best, in each of the disciplines. And that is how you win yourself through. It's how the likes of Iberia's got themselves into the final before, the way that clubs like Club Brazil have made themselves through to the final before. They've never won over on their group, the discipline, but they've been so good in both of them. They've been able to balance it out, and that balance is going to be so important in this championship.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially for a club like Midwest, this is a club that doesn't have as many drivers. A lot of them, you see them in Club Illinois, or you see them in Club Indiana, so a little bit of a smaller club for these guys, and they'll have to band together, but they have the driving talent to do it. Just guys I can think off the top of my head, guys like Paul Fugate from this club, guys that know how to drive, and especially a lot of these guys from the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze series. We see a fair amount of Midwest drivers out of that series. We'll have to keep it tuned to see if any of them decide to poke their head in and kind of mix it up a little bit in this Gen 6 series.
That is an interesting point in itself, because over the years we have seen star power come into play later in the game. Last year, for example, we saw Gregor Hutu trying his hand in a NASCAR, and you know what? He was fantastic, Cisco.
But I mean, it's also Gregor Hutu. I mean, I'm not terribly surprised by that. But will we see someone like a PJ Sturgis come in for his team? I believe he would be in Club New England if he does run it. But even a lot of Carolina guys that we might see from the higher splits of the NASCAR series, and just star power, it comes into play here. And I'm looking at that Northwest team a little bit. They've got a couple drivers that I know. I've seen them race on our channel, and these guys know how to drive, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of that disparity is going to be, star power versus guys, just numbers.
Interestingly, New Jersey and New York right next to each other. Of course, we're doing this in alphabetical order where possible. New Jersey, Jason Wallet is driving their number 14 car right now. Bruce Frame is the club captain for New Jersey. And this is one of those teams where we see them pop up oh so often. They have got some very interesting drivers when you get down to their top end of competition that run not only in the NASCAR Peak Entry Series powered by iRacing, but across various disciplines. We've seen some fantastic drivers going to things like IndyCar over the years, and there's a couple of fantastic drivers that's come through there. Then we've got drivers that's running endurance racing. We've got drivers that's even transferred into railroad racing through iRacing, as just running a little bit wide there through La Source. It's okay. We're not going to count the 1Xs today.
No, I think those wheels are so big. I don't think you could turn the car far enough to go through that corner. Yeah.
And of course, having a look through the Erouge Radio Complex once again. There we are. Erouge, just if you want to know, is the first bit. It's that left-hander. Everything else, for those of you new to these podcasts, is known as Radion. Don't confuse the two of them. Behind, though, Club New Jersey, we have ourselves Club New York, New York. In terms of, you know, showing that pride of club, they've really kind of gone down the whole tourist route they have here. I Heart New York. I Heart New York today if they ask them to.
Absolutely, and you got to think, well, they already have their T-shirts done.
Yeah.
They don't need to make any T-shirts. Talk about merchandising. That team has done a great job of that.
Do you think they get a cut every time someone buys a T-shirt from Times Square?
Who knows? It could be. If that's the case, they probably are the best funded team out here. Well,
in terms of Club New York, Michael Kearns is their club captain right now. So see, we haven't unfortunately had the chance to chat to a couple of these people so far. We will bring them in as and when they come along. We have got Kyle Fleshman, though, who has the chance to talk to us. And Cisco, take it away.
Yeah, Kyle, it's Cisco and Will up in the
it's okay. You can call it that if you want to.
The race spot booth. You got a copy?
How you doing tonight?
Oh, there we go. Now we got you. Well, we see you out there with your teammate Dave out there running a little bit. How are you guys feeling coming into this World Cup?
Well, pretty excited to participate with the Club New York team and hopefully put them on the top of the board.
Absolutely. Is there any sort of rivalry between you and maybe New Jersey and some of those New England clubs, or are you guys just going out there to beat everyone?
We just want to dominate and be number one. I think that's always the goal in a competition, right?
Absolutely. And see, you got double clutch on the side of the window representing, but those guys are looking really good. So, Kyle, talk us through kind of what are you guys seeing in terms of drivers for each series? Is there one series where you want to specialize in, or are you trying to go for all of them?
Oh, I think we're trying, as far as the club, trying to get at least some participation in all the events. Last I looked, I know we had about an even spread of oval and road.
Well, I'll let you guys get back down to driving around, but any sponsor shout-outs you guys need to give from that team?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, let's Kyle. that's Kyle. He is driving that number 40 Gen 6. Getting a little drifty with us going through the S's, but Will, I'll toss it back up to you. Those cars look amazing.
You know what? I looked at the car first and thought, yeah, that looks pretty cool in terms of its visibility. You have a look at the side of the car. You just see that famous New York skyline. Ironically, though, if they were taking some of those pictures, Cisco, they would need to be in New Jersey to be able to shoot them. Just saying.
Oh, no.
Just
Kyle,
saying.
any comment?
New York all the way. There's more to New York than just the city.
All right, well, there you go. Thanks,
Well,
Kyle.
that is Club New York as we cycle it back a little bit further. So we're heading ourselves, we kind of spent a lot of time recently talking about our American clubs. Next up on our list, though, we're going to head ourselves out of that in towards some of our Scandinavian club drivers now. And this is a club which historically has been in a number of battles with Club Finland. They are very closely, geographically close together. And the number 88 machine we can see on track there right now. That is the driver of Carl Janssen in the number 88 car, just for the time being. In terms of the club captain for that one, it's Carl Frederick Herzl. Carl is not on track, so we have got Carl Janssen instead. And, well, they've gone traditional Scandinavia. They've not, it's not necessarily the brashest of all the skins, but it is traditional. And, of course, the Vikings are coming.
I was going to say, that Viking logo on the car just looks awesome. I think that's probably one of the best club logos out there with the Viking. Oh, man, that looks awesome.
Yeah, we will get yourselves a little aerial shot of that one right down on the hood so we can show that into you in just a moment. So we have to wait for the cars to head themselves out of last source before we can do that one. But Scandinavia, it's an interesting one because they're one of those, again, those traditional European clubs that are very strong on the road course, but they have got an interestingly strong contingent of NASCAR drivers. So they will be a team that if you've seen them in your kind of group heading into any of the stages, do not discount them at all on the oval side, because they will cause, I wouldn't even say some surprises, a lot of difficulties, especially for some of the clubs that I've talked about earlier that don't have that strong balance across the depth of its population.
Yeah, absolutely. And Scandinavia has one of the best driving talents out there. And, you know, obviously with their rivals, Finland, those are, you know, we make the jokes all the time, you know, oh, you have to be Finnish if you want to win a championship. Yeah, there's a lot of great drivers from all of Scandinavia. And we got one actually joining us in the booth now. And Will, I'll throw it down to you. Carly Janssen, who's driving that Corvette, or no, he's driving the Ford in front of that team in the number 88. I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, Carl. So, Scandinavia World Cup 2016. The first question, of course, is the obvious one. Can you beat Club Finland?
Probably.
Probably? Is that all you're going to give us?
I don't know. We got a pretty strong car though. With really strong setup. We have worked very hard on it. So yeah, I think we can beat them.
Of course, there's not just Club Finland here. There's so many clubs, so many groups and organizations represented in the 2016 World Cup of iRacing. First of all, how well do you think you can fare? And secondly, who do you think is going to be your biggest competition this year?
No idea, actually. I don't know really who's going to be the biggest competition. I think on the road side it may be Finland, because they're very strong there. Yeah.
Well, of course, it all starts for you guys. It could be in a couple of hours' time. We've got endurance racing, road racing, oval racing. How far do you think the journey can go? Do you think you can make it all the way through to the finals?
Yeah, I'm sure we can.
It's about a few words here, Carl, but I'll tell you what, thank you for being a part of our coverage. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to? Your teammates, your members? Anything you want to say in any native languages to rally up your people heading into the World Cup of iRacing?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to all in Scandinavia that joined the World Cup for making this possible, that we can make a team.
Well, thank you for being a part of our broadcast this evening. Of course, they have got two cars that are represented here I've got a cat that's literally leaping up into the air right now. Jan Martinsen is behind the wheel of the Scandinavian Club Corvette. So, we've got this far so far. Now it's time to talk about what happened last year. So let's go 5 clubs we talked about already. Canada, Northwest, DX, UK, Ireland, Finland. And we start looking at the big names with Club Northwest. Then I would say that if we were to be doing sports betting here, you could consider Club Northwest, because their road side is stronger than most people ever give them credit for. Their oval side is wow.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, not only is this an American club, which gives them a little bit of a base in the oval driving, but you have to remember that Northwest, you don't get a lot of NASCAR up there, which means a lot of these guys are coming in. They're coming in from a road racing background. That's a big deal up in the Northwest, and as a base for driving skill, these guys have shown that it's really paid off for that club. They've done an amazing job. They did an amazing job last year getting into the final, and Chris Beck, who is a team leader for that, is leading those 2 cars. Drew Lalonde in the second car in the Gen 6 behind him, but the 34 is leading that train. He's their team captain, and he's in the Corvette.
He is. He's also with us now, Cisco.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, Cisco and Will up in the race spot booth. You got a copy?
I do.
All right. Well, here you are. You're one of the top 5 finalists from last year. What are your thoughts coming into this year?
I think we're going to do really well. We've really had a coming together of the drivers, and we've got a real strong road crew this year, and I do believe our oval is going to be just as good.
Absolutely, and obviously, if you guys have a strong road, that's gonna be just a great shootout for those guys. But talk us through, what are you guys thinking in terms of strategy here? Is it going to be a lot of just going out there and trying to put up the best laps? Is it a lot of teamwork? What are you guys aiming to do here in this series?
Finish races in one piece. We've got a lot of speed, but having speed for a couple of laps doesn't win races. So it's longevity and hanging in there.
Absolutely, that's what this is all about. But plenty of drivers signed up on your end. Standouts, anything you're looking forward to from this series?
Well, we've got some guys. Jimbo Pfeiffer has won really big help this season in the road stuff. David Williams on both sides of the racing, oval and the road. We've got a bunch of people that are just being solid this year.
That definitely sounds great for you guys. I'll let you get out, but I'll let you get back into the race car. Before you do, sponsor shout-outs. Who gets it done for you in the Northwest Club?
I'm not sure I understand that question.
Sponsors, do you have any?
Sponsors. We have Volt Vapes. They have been sponsoring a lot of stuff, and that's the big standout.
All right, well, there you go. And Volt Vapes, if I remember my LSR TV history correctly, they're sponsors of the Pack Majors.
They are.
Yes. All right.
So yes, they are.
All right, cool. I remember that. Yay. But good luck to you guys. We hope to see you out there, and good luck to you in this series.
Yeah. We talked about Club
Thank you
Canada.
very much.
Thank you so much. We talked about Club Canada earlier. We'll talk about them very quickly once again. That's an entire nation, and it's a big nation, and it's a big sporting nation right now looking to break through. And I made the joke here about, the Blue Jays, but you know what? I was one of those people that I did rally behind the Blue Jays, the same way that I'm one of those people that rally behind the Toronto Raptors every time they head themselves to the NBA playoffs. Canada have always been one of the most friendly clubs on iRacing, and I think that as people get eliminated from this competition, a lot of people support might well travel to the Maple Leaf States.
Oh, absolutely. They have a lot of clout in the fan base. It's a very enjoyable club. I mean, we talk about some of the most favorited drivers throughout different series. Has to come to mind James Hinchcliffe from the Verizon IndyCar series, probably one of the most friendly drivers that I can think of out in just in driving in general, and from what I'm hearing, apparently Canada just joined Pacific Majors as well. So they're going to be running more kind of in this club scenario now, but as we get down into the World Cup, and Will, you're going to be catching up with one of those drivers in a moment, as they get into the World Cup, that Pac Majors series, we bring it up because that's one of the other club versus club series that we see. And it's really it's a testament. It's also another event put on by Michael Lett. And these club versus club things, the guys who run in that series always have a little bit of a leg up on everyone else.
Indeed so. Brandon Hawkins joining us now here on Racesport TV. And, well, Brandon, having a look at your cars, it seems very, very clear. You guys are proudly Canadian.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys, for having me on here. Yeah, Canada, we got a lot of pride in our country, I guess. And, yeah, we got a great group of guys here running the World Cup this year. And, yeah, just glad to be a part of it.
Now, last year you made it through to the finals. It wasn't the end result that you wanted. This year, what have you learned from being in the finals before that could help you get yourself to that top step and that elusive World Cup of iRacing win?
Well, yeah, this is actually my first time in the World Cup of iRacing, but if we keep our nose clean, run a good, solid, clean race, run fast laps, work together well, I think we could have a good shot at the podium.
Well, of course, events start very soon. We've talked about you already. The racing does the talking. But of course, there's your friends, your team, your sponsors, etc. Who makes Club Canada tick along?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think it's a group effort. Like everybody, they all pitch in. We worked a lot together through practice sessions, getting ready for the races. And I think yeah, basically everybody.
Well, thank you so much there, Brandon Hawkins from Club Canada. As we continue, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. As the conversation continues, and that's one thing actually, Cisco, before we go any further, because it will become useful as we talk about the next team. People forget that sometimes there's a language barrier that comes into play as well. Club Canada, yes, they are mainly English speaking. We have the French side, but when you talk about our next team, Club DH, that is when there are potentially multiple languages at play. There's Austrian, there's German, there's Switzerland, which of course has a mixture of various different languages going on there as well. So that communication and that teamwork becomes even more demanding at points. But Club DH, they have shown themselves to be masters. Of course, they are the club to beat in terms of the history books.
And I think I just heard a huge pop from the audience once they got on screen. A lot of fans for that club. But this is a club that for the last 2 years have gotten beaten out for that championship by Finland. This is not, I don't think this is a very happy club with how their outcomes have been the last 2 years, Will. And I think this is a club that wants to go back out there and show, hey, we're still here. Don't count us out just yet.
Well, of course, let's not forget in terms of Formula One right now, technically, a German driver is leading the championship. So, but we have got ourselves, technically, of course, I'm saying that. And, you know, that could be an olive branch from one country to another. I'm just saying. We have got a couple of our drivers, from Club DH here. Matthias Woodhart, and also we have ourselves a driver of Patrick Kopp here on Racesport TV and on iRacing Live. Hello to Club DH. Patrick, I'm going to start with you first. You are driving along right now at 50 miles an hour in your NASCAR Gen 6 machine. The parade of clubs, of course, you have got one thing on your mind.
Hello guys, first, but I have to say I couldn't understand your question right, I think.
Excuse me. As we enter the 2016 World Cup of iRacing, there's only one thing on your mind. That's being champions again. Let's be honest.
First, I think the important for the DH is to participate it, because we have at the moment less drivers who have interest in the World Cup. I organize at the moment the drivers, but yes, when we are in the race, that is the best for us at the moment.
Now, you guys are 4-time world champions. You are the most decorated team in the entire history of iRacing, the most decorated club. You're looking for number 5, but there's a certain blue and white team that's been there taking your championships for the last couple of years. What can you do to beat them this time around?
At the moment, we don't think about the World Championship because, yes, how I said before, I think we don't get enough drivers on the main event. The most people are angry about the last years, what happens. The motor I don't know, because I only drive the last year. And yes, that's the main problem. Many overall drivers don't want to drive. And on the roadside, yeah, the feedback is not so much at the moment. So I hope in the next 2 weeks it will more. But yeah, at this stage I can think about to get the world champion title.
Thank you, Patrick. We've got Matthias Woodhart here as well, standing by with Cisco. Take it away, Cisco.
Yeah, Matthias, you're up there. You're in the Corvette. What are your thoughts coming into this? Patrick told us a little bit about the team mindset. Would you echo that?
Yeah, first of all, good day guys, and I think it's most about the fun.
Well, there you have it. They're having fun down there, but you know, coming into this series, you guys do have the most championships. For having fun out there, is there a point where you guys just buckle down and say, all right, let's go to work, or is it just trying to get at one event after another, or what's kind of your mindset going into this series?
Get this done and see how we end up there, I would say.
All right. Well, there you have it, Will. Team DH, that's we heard from them, but guys, sponsors, shout outs, anyone you want to give a thanks to for making that team possible?
Of course, I would say here at the moment to create Slapco, because he did the last year the really best job, but he got a new job, so he can do it. And the others, yeah, have to speak to Matthias, I think.
Yes, that would be it, I think.
All right. Well, that's Club DH, Will. And we're going to move it on along, and I'll just let you go here.
We know what? I'm going to say one thing before we do this. The iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series for the last 4 years has been won by one driver, and as an extension, one club. Not this year. And Martin Kroenke, for 15 rounds of the World Championship Grand Prix Series, said he is not thinking about the championship, but he got himself that crown for Coanda Sim Sports. He did what many people classified to be impossible, and that is dethrone the Finnish maestro known as Gregor Huti. So to all the Club DH drivers listening or watching this broadcast, remember this: you have yourselves the opportunity, but the opportunity is on track. Let the track do the talking. Get out there. You've already shown yourself to be the best in the world in one of the world's most premier esport racing competitions. Now's your chance to do it again, Cisco.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that was such a shock to everyone here, just how Kroenke's season, just in a nutshell, how great it was. And you guys definitely, you can piggyback off that. And I wish you guys all the best here in the World Cup.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you and good evening.
Thank you. Well, Will, it's come to that point where I'm just going to give you the mic and let you go for the next 5 minutes. Here you go.
Oh, do I have to?
Well, it is your club, so.
It is my club, but as everyone will know, I've always been completely neutral in this competition. So, tough question time as we introduce Club UK and Ireland. We've got Matthew Dalton here. who is the club captain. He's riding himself in the number 20 machine. We've also got ourselves a number 26 car there involved in our little parade of clubs as well. That is Doug Pickering in the Chevrolet Corvette GT1 machine. Now, Club UK and Ireland, it's been an interesting history for them. When I first joined iRacing, they were the team that came that close to qualifying. And one would argue, had they qualified, they would have won the World Championship. And many people claimed that that year was their best ever shot. They've had some highs, they've had some lows ever since then. And Matthew Dalton came onto the team a couple of years ago, and he's tried to turn that team around. This is one of iRacing's biggest teams. Ironically, one of the other biggest teams is Club DH. Matthew Dalton has a tough task, however, motivating a very diverse user base into going into World Cup competition, knowing they have come so tantalizingly close before, but knowing that they could well end up with the championship. And what a party in Wales it would be if they do, Matt.
It would indeed. You'd certainly have a few ales in Cardiff next year.
Indeed. So, again, I know this club more than others. It's a simple one. But the preparation last year pretty much started the day after the 2014 World Cup. Similar thing this year, but you guys don't really do your practice as formal practice sessions. You do it by getting guys to race against each other day in and day out. How do you think that strategy will work for you this year?
Well, we did the same last year and it worked reasonably well. The big sort of deficiency we had last year was on the oval team. We knew that, so we basically set a league up, ran it, did as much as we could to learn the car, and you know, I think it was safe to say that we had the edge on the oval side last year. So this year we've just done pretty much the same thing. We've pretty much immediately switched to the Gen 6. We've picked up a few things and picked up a few drivers, and in and amongst the team that we're in as well as in the club, we've worked really hard on the setups and the car all year. So I think in terms of the cars, we're as good as we can be. We're as ready as we can be.
The car choices, of course, we see you guys every Monday night here on RaceSpot TV, as you've seen us for the last 3 years, but the car choices, GT1 cars is good for you guys, actually, because, you know, you guys are known to have some very good participation in team-based competitions. The Gen 6 car seems to be good for you guys in single competition. You have got some guys running and trying to break through into the highest level of competitions. Car choice, good or bad? Go on.
Well, the Gen 6 is great. I mean, you know, any of the oval cars would have been good, to be honest. We've got a really strong oval side now, and we've got a couple of guys in the Road to Pro Series this year that are going to be hopefully in the Peak Antifreeze Series next year, and so, you know, we couldn't be any better on the oval side. GT1, it's a mixed bag. It's a car that we should be good in because we got a lot of GT drivers, but it's a car that not many people run, and actually I don't think it's as good for us as if it was, you know, open wheel Formula Renault, Skip Barber, something like that. I think we are on the driver's side struggling a little bit at the minute.
Okay, so we are entering the competition. What's going to be the aim in terms of realisticness?
Win it.
Win it? Is that your
Win
only?
it.
Is it all or nothing?
Yeah, I'm not in. We're not here to finish second. What's the point of that? Nobody turns up for that.
Okay.
We're here to win it. That is it. Flat, dead aim. The target was put on Club Finland last year, and since when we took over with myself and some of the other guys that have been helping out, Andrew Streetley on the enduro side, and Fraser is helping out on the Armageddon side and all that kind of thing for all the side events as well. All these guys have put in blood, sweat and tears in it to win it.
Well, of course, if you do end up winning, in January you got yourself the opportunity to celebrate, because iRacing will be heading themselves to Autosport International 2017, and that will be an interesting party if you do end up winning yourselves the World Championship. Not saying that you are, but if you do, then you've got yourself a fantastic opportunity to really celebrate the very best of British sim racing. 12th to the 15th of January 2017 at the NEC Birmingham. PS Racesport TV will be there, just saying.
Yeah, I mean, we'd definitely have a party and have a few beers if we win. But the main thing, it's a long way to go yet. It's early days. We've got to get through the first round, then get through whatever the tournament round throws at us, and we've got to get into the final. And we don't know exactly how it's all going to pan out, but all we can do is be ready, and we're ready.
Okay, before we let you go, sponsors, friends, messages of inspiration. Take it away.
Just a massive thank you to Rachel for doing all the skins as usual this year. I think they look absolutely brilliant. It's they put a proper signal of intent out. Thanks to Andrew Streetley for helping out on the enduro side, to Fraser for helping out on the Armageddon side, to Mark Murphy for organising the Intimidator team. RaceSpot for covering it, iRacing for giving us all such a good service that we can all have a good time and enjoy these kind of events on, and to Finland and all the other clubs for making it what it is, and to Mike for organising it.
And just a PSA, by the way, they've put a RaceSpot TV sticker on there without us knowing, but of course a RaceSpot TV sticker does make you 0.2 of a second faster. Thank you very much, Matt.
No problem.
Right then, before we get ourselves any further, that is all the clubs but one. However, to honour the team that won last year's championship, ladies and gentlemen, this is the national anthem of Finland, the 2015 World Cup of iRacing Champions. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2015 World Cup of iRacing Champions, Club Finland. Before we go any further, don't forget that the first round of Armageddon will start next here on iRacing Live, brought to you by Off Camber TV. So keep it with us here on iRacing Live, not only now throughout the entirety of the World Cup of iRacing. We have got ourselves Joni Backman and Jonas Purka here for Club Finland. I'm going to start with you first here, Joni. You won it 2 in a row, 3 in a row, equaling DH, possible?
Absolutely.
Are you going to do one of these interviews when you say one-word answers to me?
Nah, just kidding. I was just yanking your crank, you know that. But yeah. It's gonna every year. It's equally tough every year. It doesn't matter what club it's we're up against, but every club has a lot of strength in their own field. So yeah, I have nothing but confidence towards the Club Finland. But yeah, it's never gonna be easy.
Now, earlier on, we heard some messages from some of your competitors talking about years previous, so on and so forth, and their lack of drive for this year's championship. But of course, we know that you guys want to see the action done on the track. So do you have a message to your competitors in terms of the World Cup, in terms of this competition overall?
Not really. I mean, last year a lot of the clubs that like basically half the field counted out of the championship almost actually grabbed it. I mean, Team UK came out of the bushes and like was close to getting the World Cup last year. So I have nothing but high hopes towards this year.
We've got Jonas Ursanpurka here. Moi moi, Jonas.
Moi moi and hello, and you can drop the middle name. Thank you.
Okay, so we know you're driving. Cisco's going to talk to you then. And just to make sure you don't crash, if he's still available. I don't think he's available, so I've got to talk to you. So Jonas.
No, I'm here.
Okay, Cisco, take it away, boy. Go on.
All right, Jonas. We talked about it before, but your team's drive. You guys said the goal, win the whole thing. Absolutely. What's kind of the team strategy for this? Is it a team effort? Is it letting your best guys shine? What's kind of the team thinking behind that?
I think it's our little brother syndrome. As a Finnish thing as a whole, we are such a small country that whenever we do something as a country, national competition, anything, we want to do well and we want to be proud of what we do. And as Finnish people, I think it is important to us to regain our national identity in this competition as well. So it's a challenge for us. We challenge each other through our driving, and we are challenging also other clubs to do better so they can challenge us. And I think the 4th World Cup victory is absolutely not only possible, but it is something that we are really going to go after. As Joni said earlier, we are going to go after it, and I think we are confident that we can do it. We are going to have a lot of challenge this year from other clubs, but I think that the biggest challenge this year is going to come from other clubs instead of ourselves. That's the amount of confidence we have in our team spirit this year.
Wow. Well, I don't need to ask anything else, Will. That was everything I was going to ask him right there.
You're welcome.
But, I mean, you guys just, the cars look great this year, and, coming in here as the champions, does it add to that confidence a little bit, knowing we've done this 2 years in a row, we can do it again?
I think so, yes, because we know how we can do it. We had a new group last year. We had a changing of the guard, so to speak. We had a couple of new guys joining in, and this year these guys are more experienced, better GD1 drivers. The car suits really well. We got a lot of depth in the car, so much so, as a matter of fact, that I'm not even gonna be even driving in the finals because I'm not needed. That's the depth we have. So I'm just gonna do this gig and then do something else for the finals. And it does give us a lot of confidence. Of course, we want to go for the triple, but what we have to be careful of is not to be too confident. We cannot be cocky. We cannot underestimate our rivals. But you know what? It really feels good to drink champagne from a World Cup trophy in a sauna.
Well, there you have it. That's Club Finland for you guys. Sponsors, shout-outs. Who makes it happen for that whole team?
Shout out to who makes it happen. I think Joni Beckman. Joni Beckman and also Jere Seppälä has been big help, who is driving alongside me in the Chevrolet Tassas Gen 6. He's been a big help, and Joni Beckman is a big help, but to be honest, it's a team effort. It's a team effort, and we couldn't do it without the drivers, and we couldn't do it without the organizers. So big thanks to Mike Bullet as well for organizing this thing, and big thanks to everyone who was watching, as well as you guys for streaming this Racebook TV, of course.
Alright. Joni, anything to add?
Yeah, I need a shower.
Alright, well, I'll throw it back up to Mr. MC Will Vincent, but Club Finland, they're sounded pretty confident.
So, ladies and gentlemen, those are your clubs. We've been asked, and we want you to tell us as well, who has got the best of all of the liveries. I'm not going to lie to you, my choice is very simple here, Francisco, but I'm going to ask you first. Go ahead.
Well, just to make sure that I'm in the even playing field here. Club Illinois is not in this group here, so don't worry. I'm not biased in any way. I will have to say, probably the most memorable scheme for me is gonna be that New York scheme.
Same. Not only because it's got that fantastic I Heart New York thing at the very front of it, But you look at the level of detailing on that. I mean, you see the Brooklyn Bridge, you see yourself the Statue of Liberty, you see yourself the New York skyline on that. In terms of pride of club, I don't think I've ever seen a livery as picture perfect as that. So I'm looking at it now, just trying to think if there's anything I've missed here.
I like it. The back of the car even looks cool with the bridge there. I'd say that's probably the best part of the whole car, but I mean, you do bring up the fact that they might have had to be in New Jersey to paint that, but you know.
Does that mean they'll be ahead of New Jersey at the point that the photo was taken?
I guess that would be the case. Yes, Will.
But
we'll take it.
Don't forget that you can be a part of the entire coverage here on iRacing Live throughout the course of the 2016 World Cup of iRacing. It all starts right now at Lanier Raceway. You know what? I was there just the other day. Street Stocks, 100 laps. The winner is the driver who survives. It is now here on Off Camber TV, streaming live on iRacing Live. Then, tomorrow, we have got ourselves endurance racing at Le Mans. 24 hours. And each club can field up to 12 different drivers. We've got things like the Intimidator Super Speedway Championship and the Ring of Fire Hot Lap Challenge, as well as the main event. Charlotte Motor Speedway, Watkins Glen International for qualifiers. Atlanta Motor Speedway and Imola for the group stage. And the finals, Indianapolis. And right here at Circuit, Spa, Francorchamps. And that is a World Cup that I want to be a part of. For myself, Will Vincent, from Cisco, we want to give a big shout out to all of the broadcasters for the 2016 World Cup of iRacing. Thank you so much for being a part of making this the biggest and best World Cup in the history of iRacing. To Off Camber TV, to MaxB TV, to the Global Sim Racing channel, and of course, to everyone else who is watching and taking part around the world. We will see you all on the other side. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.